This is Earl Nightingale, speaking to you across the decades, from the warm hum of 1950s radio to the glowing screen in your hands today. Before I reveal the real reason you feel stuck, the hidden force that's holding you back, I ask you to take a small but courageous step. If these words stir even a whisper of truth in your soul, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and in the comments share one moment when you called yourself lazy. What were you avoiding and why? Why? Because this moment could be the spark that awakens your purpose. And I want you to walk this path with me to shatter a lie that's dimmed too many lights. For years, I've heard the same refrain. I'm just lazy. I can't make myself act. I'm not good enough. But what if I told you you're not lazy? You never were. In 1960, I stood before a microphone and said something that shocked my listeners. There are no lazy people. There are only those who haven't found their reason to move. Laziness isn't a flaw. It's a symptom, a sign you're missing something deeper. It's not about your willpower. It's about your why. Stay with me, and I'll show you what's really holding you back and how to break free, not by force, but by finding the fire within. Was born in 1921 in Long Beach, California, under the shadow of the Great Depression, a time when survival demanded relentless effort. We lived in a tense city where hope was as scarce as bread, and my mother stitched clothes by lamplight, her hand steady despite our struggles. My father left when I was 9, and I'd watch men shuffle past, their faces etched with exhaustion, working jobs that broke their bodies. Some toiled with purpose, their eyes alight with dreams. Others moved like shadows, drained, defeated. As a boy, I wondered, why did two men in the same hardship live so differently? That question followed me into the United States Marines, where I stood on the deck of the USS Arizona during the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. I saw men frozen by fear and others who acted with clarity, driven by something beyond survival. After the war, in the 1940s, I found my calling behind a microphone, broadcasting to a nation rebuilding itself. As a radio host, I met thousands, factory workers, teachers, dreamers, drifters. I saw brilliant minds stall, labeled lazy by themselves or others, and ordinary souls achieve greatness, not because they worked harder, but because they worked with purpose. In 1956, I recorded The Strangest Secret, a message that sold over 1 million copies and touched lives worldwide. Its core wasn't about effort, it was about vision. I learned that what we call laziness isn't a lack of energy, it's a lack of direction. When a person finds their why, their reason to rise, their soul catches fire, and action follows naturally. The difference between those who move and those who don't isn't strength, it's clarity. That truth became my mission, and it's what I'm sharing with you now. Because you're not lazy, you're waiting for your spark. Here's the truth that changes everything. You're not lazy. You're missing a clear vision of your future. Laziness is a myth, a label we slap on ourselves when we don't know why we should act. Without a purpose, a goal, a vivid picture of what you're moving toward, your mind drifts, your body stalls, your heart grows heavy. You don't lack effort. You lack a reason to exert it. When you don't know where you're going, every step feels pointless. When you don't see meaning, every task feels like a burden. This isn't a failure. It's a signal, a call to pause and listen. Your so-called laziness is your soul whispering, find your why. It's asking, what do you want to create? What future makes your heart race? Why do you rise each day? When you answer those questions, when you paint a picture of a life that matters to you, your energy awakens. Your feet move without force. Your hands work without struggle. Your mind focuses without effort. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're driven by something deeper than discipline, purpose. The fix isn't to whip yourself into action. It's to find your spark. Picture a goal that sets your soul alight. Think about it daily. Feel it as real. Let it pull you forward, not push you. Your why is the key that unlocks your action, the fire that burns away the myth of laziness. You're not broken. You're waiting to remember who you are and why you're here. Let me take you back to the America of the 1940s to 1980s, a world of struggle and quiet victories, where purpose turned lazy souls into forces of change. In 1958, I met a young man in Michigan, barely 20, who'd been called lazy his whole life. He drifted, working odd jobs, sleeping late, avoiding responsibility. Then his mother fell ill, her health fading fast. That pain became his why. He pictured her cared for, secure, and that vision lit a fire. He enrolled in night school, studied mechanics, and by 1960, he managed a service station, supporting his family. His laziness wasn't real. It was a lack of purpose, overcome by a reason to rise. In 1963, a woman in Minneapolis wrote to me after hearing my radio show. Her neighbors called her lazy, mocking her quiet pace, her habit of daydreaming. But she wasn't idle. She was searching. She dreamed of helping children with anxiety, a cause born from her own childhood fears. That vision became her why. She began studying psychology, volunteering at schools, and by 1970, her wellness center supported dozens of children. Her fire burned differently, not loud but deep. Her laziness was a myth dispelled by purpose. In 1955, a factory worker in Cleveland tuned into my broadcast. He'd been labeled lazy, spending evenings idle, avoiding ambition. Then he heard the strangest secret and realized he wanted to teach others his trade. That goal became his why. He pictured himself mentoring young men, thought about it daily, and started teaching in his garage. By 1961, his apprentices ran their own shops, crediting him. His inaction wasn't laziness. It was a lack of vision, replaced by a spark. In 1972, a seamstress in Atlanta, a widow, felt trapped in monotony, called lazy by her peers for her slow work. But she heard my show and found her why: to create clothes that empowered women. She pictured her designs in stores, thought about it daily, and began sketching after work. By 1978, her small boutique thrived. Her laziness was a lack of clarity, overcome by a purpose that moved her. In 1967, a clerk in Chicago, young and aimless, wrote to me. He'd been called lazy for dodging tasks, living without drive. My words woke him. He wanted to start a community library. That vision became his why. He thought about it daily, saved money, volunteered at libraries. By 1974, his reading room served hundreds. His laziness was a lack of direction, banished by a goal. In 1980, a farmer in Iowa, nearing 50, heard my broadcast. His family saw him as lazy, spending hours staring at fields, avoiding modern methods. But he wasn't idle. He was dreaming of sustainable farming. That purpose became his why. He studied new techniques, thought daily, and by 1986, his farm was a model for others. His laziness was a lack of a clear why, ignited by vision. In 1959, a nurse in St. Louis, quiet and reserved, was labeled lazy for her slow pace. But she heard my show and found her why: to comfort the dying. She pictured herself easing final moments, thought about it daily, and began volunteering in hospices. By 1965, families wrote letters of gratitude. Her laziness was a lack of purpose, transformed by meaning. In 1976, a carpenter in Oregon, drifting through life, was called lazy for his inconsistent work. My broadcast reached him, and he found his why: to build homes for the poor. He pictured families sheltered, thought daily, and volunteered his skills. By 1983, his homes housed dozens. His laziness was a lack of vision, replaced by a spark. And in 1956, When I recorded The Strangest Secret, I faced my own doubts. I wasn't the most driven man in the room. Others seemed bolder, faster. But I found my why, to awaken others to their potential. That vision drove me to act, to speak, to share. That record changed millions of lives, not because I was tireless, but because I was purposeful. My laziness was a myth, dispelled by a reason to move. Here's the painful truth. Without a why, you're anchored in place, not by laziness, but by emptiness. The world will call you idle, weak, unmotivated, but those are lies. You're not broken. You're searching, waiting for a vision to guide you. Most people never find it, not because they can't, but because they don't ask. They accept the label of laziness, beat themselves down, and drift through life, their potential buried under a myth. I've seen brilliant minds stall, not for lack of ability, but for lack of purpose. I've seen dreamers fade, not because they're lazy, but because they don't know why they're here. Your heart is a compass, but without a destination, it spins aimlessly. Every day you hesitate, every task you avoid, every moment you feel lazy is a cry from your soul. Give me a reason. The world will tempt you to believe you're flawed, to force action through guilt or shame. But force fails, only purpose endures. The tragedy isn't that you're idle. It's that you haven't yet found the spark that makes action inevitable. The question isn't why you're lazy. It's why you haven't found your why. I'm not here to scold you. I'm here to awaken you to a truth. You're not lazy, and you never were. You're a fire waiting for kindling, a soul searching for its why. The weight holding you back isn't a flaw. It's the absence of a clear, vivid purpose. Find that purpose, and you'll move mountains, not because you're forced, but because you're called. Your why is the key that unlocks your action, the light that guides your steps, the fire that burns away doubt. This is your challenge. For the next 30 days, seek your why. Every morning, sit quietly and ask, what do I want to create? What future makes my heart race? Picture a goal that sets your soul alight, a craft to master, a person to love, a cause to serve. Write it down to make it real. Think about it morning and night, letting it fill your mind like a melody. Act on it for 1 hour each day, no matter how small the step. Write a line, learn a skill, help someone, take a risk. Don't force action. Let your why pull you. Don't fear slowness. Trust your spark. You're not here to drift. You're here to shine, to build, to live with purpose. The myth of laziness is a chain you can break, not by effort, but by vision. Find your why, and your steps will follow, not with struggle, but with joy. Start today. Seek today. Ignite today. Tomorrow, when you wake, the world will tempt you to call yourself lazy, to believe you're not enough, to settle for less than you're meant to be. But you'll know the truth. You're not lazy. You're a spark waiting to blaze. The weight you feel isn't a flaw. It's a call to find your why. Your heart isn't idle. It's searching for a vision that makes every step worth taking. Your life isn't a burden. It's a canvas, waiting for your purpose to paint it. Your why is a fire, and every thought you give it is kindling. The world needs your light, not your labor. It needs your purpose, not your perfection. It needs you awake, alive, moving toward a future only you can see. The next time you hear that voice saying, I'm lazy, pause. Don't judge it, listen. It's not your critic, it's your guide, asking you to find a meaning that makes action effortless. You're not broken. You're waiting to remember why you're here. This is your moment to stop fighting and start seeking. Your why isn't just a goal, it's your compass. Your actions aren't just tasks, they're your truth. Your life isn't a struggle, it's a story of awakening, written one purposeful step at a time. Find your spark, and you'll move, not because you must, but because you can't help it. You're not lazy. You're ready to burn bright. This is Earl Nightingale, signing off, but not before I leave you with a mission that could change everything. If this truth about laziness and purpose has awakened something in you, a spark of clarity, a glimpse of your own why, don't let it fade. Share this video with one person who's called themselves lazy, someone ready to find their reason to move. Hit the like button to spread this truth to others searching for it. Subscribe so we can walk this path together, day by day, as you discover your purpose. And in the comments below, tell me, what's the one why you'll think about every day for the next 30 days? And what's the first step you'll take to bring it to life? Your words could light a fire for someone else, maybe even for yourself. This is your moment, my friend. Seek it, act it, become it.